Hello and welcome to the Soul Sync podcast. It's lovely to have you here. Now, like many of us, I have developed my mediumship over many years, and it's probably taught me more about myself in a lot of ways, and it has just connecting to spirit, because one of the strangest things I found about mediumship is that in many ways, the hardest part really isn't connecting with spirit. It's learning to trust yourself. And I think that's not just true in mediumship, but in life in general, because how many times have you felt something deep down? You know, I used to describe it as a gut feeling, a knowing, an inner nudge, a quiet voice trying to guide you, and almost instantly, as soon as you get that feeling, another voice appears. Was that real? Am I imagining this? Is that my intuition or anxiety? Is that spirit or just my mind? And I think for many sensitive people, this is the real battleground. Not ability, but trust. Because often the people who doubt themselves the most are not the least gifted. They're the ones most who care about getting it right. And I think so half the time, why do I get myself so worked up before mediumship? Is because I really care and I want to get that right. You know, we don't want to mislead, and I want to do a good job for the spirit person and for the person sitting in front of me. And I think somewhere along the path of spiritual development, many of us start asking deeper questions. What actually makes a great medium? Is it really perfect evidence, endless facts and details, or is there something deeper happening? Is mediumship simply about proving survival? I think not. Or is it really about conveying the essence of the soul, the love, the personality, the feeling, the truth of who someone was? And in this conversation with Susan Diadem, who's a medium, we explore all of this: self-doubt, trust, spiritual integrity, and the delicate balance between confidence and humility. And we ask one of the most important questions any medium or any intuitive person can ask: when is this truly spirit? I've asked myself that question so many times. Is it me? Is it spirit? Is this my imagination? Because I've got an active imagination at the best of times. That's ADHD people do, and I think that's a superpower in its own right. I absolutely loved Susan's wisdom, honesty, her warmth, and the refreshing lack of fluff she has towards spiritual work. And I think there's a lot of fluff in spiritualism. So Susan really cut through that, and she made me laugh a lot. So whether you're a working medium, developing your gifts, or simply someone learning, trying to trust yourself more deeply, I have to say, I absolutely love talking to Susan, because I think she just cut straight through the noise, and with the best of humour as well, and her authenticity really shone through you. So this is my conversation with the absolutely lovely Susan Diadem. Enjoy. Susan, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. It's lovely to have you on the Soul Sync. Thank you for coming on.
I'm absolutely delighted to have been invited.
Well, you come referred from the lovely Lawrence Saville, who's a very lovely medium. We were saying that before we got going. So thank you.
Yes. Yeah, you're welcome.
We're going to have a lovely conversation.
A lovely afternoon or evening. Yes.
Well, you're in Ireland. I'm in Bristol. 32 degrees here, 19 degrees where you
19
are.
At the moment,
As just researched by you.
Yes, I'm a researcher. You know, when people say something to me, I go looking. Is that right?
Good. That's what I'm like as well. So firstly, you're a medium.
I am a psychic and a medium. Yes.
Okay. Tell us about you. How did you first come into this world of mediumship and the spirit?
Okay. Well, it's an interesting story for me anyway. Well, it's my mind, but I didn't know I was a medium, but I knew I was a psychic. And as a younger person, you know, late teens, I couldn't figure out things. Why do I know this stuff when other people it was just common sense to me, that kind of thing. So, we were chatting earlier on, we were talking about the crazy, us weirdos, we're weird, we're strange, and we just can't really fit into that norm because we don't know what it is. And all of that going through, it's bad enough.
How would you describe it at the time? Was it kind of, because when I was young, I used to think that I was smarter, and I definitely wasn't smarter, but I felt like I could just read people very quickly. Yeah. What was it like for you? And what did you put it down to? Because I just put it down to being, probably a bit of a smart ass. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I never considered myself a smart arse. Other people might have. Seemingly as a child, I was very shy, actually. I was very quiet. And there was, I'm not going back into the deep history of me, but there was a lot of stuff that would have stopped me from being me. And so when you're trying to look for yourself and you're really beginning to tune into things, I'm trying to find out why. So I did go to the library a lot. I mean, I love this word, by the way. I love words. I was very discombobulated by these feelings that I was getting. Now, I never saw grannies at the end of the bed. I never saw figures in my mind and my memories, but I do remember having altered energy feelings, as I know now to call it, and wouldn't have understood it. So I was called, for a shy child, I was called cheeky, and I was only stating fact, so I couldn't. So I used to be very, very sensitive, of course, and quite naive. And I'm still at my age, a little bit of naive, not as stupid as I was, but a little bit of naivety still exists within me because it's part of our soul, isn't it? That's part of us to open and embrace. So I went to the library. I was a prolific reader. So I read psychology. I read about body language. I was then tarot and tea leaves and all of this kind of thing. And so I went and I bought book to assist me reading cards. They were playing cards. And somehow I predicted my father's business going kaput, and which was a bit upsetting because a lot of my family worked there, and it actually did manifest. And I go, holy guacamole.
Yeah, what's happened here? And who do I tell about this?
Yeah, so I lay that down and I put it to the side a bit because I got married. I had a child at 18 out of wedlock. Oh my God, strike me dead. Why don't it?
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah, in good old Ireland. And anyway, but married now to the father of that child. But in the 20s, and they're very difficult years. And so I laid off it. But I continued studies. I continued reading about it. And I know many people are interested in near-death experiences and past lives and things like that. Where did I tell you, Nick? Where did I tell you just this? I'll wander off, so you're going to have to pull me back.
Honestly, I'm the worst person for going down rabbit holes myself. But go on, please.
So I was really ill. I had issues with the gallbladder and blah, blah, blah. It was going on. Anyway, I went on holiday to Tenerife. And had I not gone on holiday to Tenerife, I'd be dead. I know that. They saved me there because I had a septic. I had a thing on my liver because, sepsis.
Sepsis, so, yes.
Sepsis. Yeah. And there was a very large thing about to burst, which would have killed me. Anyhow, so I'm in the hospital. I was there for like 2.5 weeks. I'm kind of going, didn't I get that near-death experience that I'm being fascinated all my life? I was annoyed, frustrated.
Oh my goodness.
I know, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm alive. I should be rejoicing. But anyway, a voice came into my head, into my mind, and said, "But you already know." And I went,
yes.
Now, a friend of mine happened to be holidaying in Tenerife at that time, very near to the hospital I was in. So she called in. And when I was talking to her, must have been a couple of months later, she said, when we walked into that room, she said, it was like a sense of peace. It was the most peaceful hospital room. I was in a room on my own, lots of bing bonging and tubes and stuff like that. So it doesn't always manifest the way we think. And I like to know that people like to put a color on things, and nobody's color is the same. So anyway, this is all through my discovery. So I studied psychology and did a counseling course and, of course, tarot. Thing about learning tarot, I never did it right. I was always wrong. That's not the way to lay them out. But when I laid them out the way they were telling me to, they didn't work. So even in that environment where I thought I was going to fit in, I didn't fit in.
But do you know what? There's something about even just that, though, on the tarot, that I thought I was rubbish at learning the tarot for a long old time, because I would look. So my granddad was a tarot reader, and he used to have the tarot cards out, and that was what I was fascinated with when I was younger, was the tarot cards. You know, I wanted to know when my next future husband was going to come along. I wanted to know about my career. I wanted to know about this, that, and the other, my fortunes of the future. But when I started learning it, I got lost down the meaning of the cards, because there's so much meaning to the cards, even on a kind of mysticism level. And then I was using them and I thought, well, I'm getting so lost in the meaning of the cards, it's not working. And then as soon as I scrapped that to one side and thought, I'm just going to pull out whatever I want, I started calling the presidential election in the US. I started calling all these things with my card. But you've got to, the cards are a tool for you, though, aren't they? And you've got to use them you're using them as a tool for you. If you're trying to use someone else's method.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really, some people are really fascinated with the history of tarot and what every card means. And it's important. So we know what every card means, or the background of it. But I am an intuitive reader, which you are also. Yes. So I look at a card one day and see something I've never seen before, to say, which is surprising because I have cards a long, long time. So, and I think that's about, within our work, it is about bringing new perspectives, isn't it? And for us to offer new perspectives, we must have experienced them ourselves. Because, you know, especially when it comes to the likes of counselors or psychologists or doctors and nurses, etc., if they've experienced something, they're going to understand. You know, this. I had one doctor and he said, this, what is it? This won't hurt me at all, but it'll hurt you a bit. I kind of, thanks very much for that honesty. It wasn't quite as brutal as that now. I just can't remember very certain what it was, but it did make me laugh. You know, it did make me laugh. So, but it just, with the mediumship, let me get back on track for you. So I did all that, laid off it for a while, maybe a decade or so. And then I started finding that urge to move in. I want to do more with this again. And I started looking online, and you and I both know every crazy in the world is available online.
Oh, yeah, yes. Just the click of a button.
I found a few of them and I quickly walked away. But I did find this site. It was called Delphi. Craig Parker, what's it? I knew his name's gone from my mind. He created it. And this is where I met Violet Kipling and Doris Smith, her sister. And they taught on this website. It was all through type. There was no screens or anything. It was all through type. And I went in, I found these rooms, and they had all different rooms. And I was watching these people work, and I said, oh my God, that's amazing. How do they do that? But moving forward a number of years, I ended up being a staff member and a tutor on that site, do you see? And Violet and Vi's passed over now. Doris is still with us. Actually, Darlington, that's up there. They're up that way. A bit far from Brighton, huh? And anyhow, so I used to go over to Britain twice a year, and they had ran Rainbow's End weekends, and they'd have a lot of people there training for this. But I didn't know I was a medium until I found that site, because I was going looking to deepen my psychic awareness. And so that's how I moved into the abilities. Now, it took me years. I'm a most reluctant medium because I just didn't want to hurt anyone. I didn't want to tell anybody something that's not true. I didn't want to just pull a figment out of my mind. But I went ahead and I did a lot of studies as well with that. I did join the Spiritual Natural Union, where I did take part in their education. I'm actually accredited as a teacher with them also. But,
How did you find that?
Tedious. A lot of tedious stuff. And I mean, they don't teach you to teach. You just need to prove that you can teach. But for those who really want to get on that path and find it worthy, the education system, there's a lot of information you can glean a lot from it. It's all about the history of it. However, I'm Irish, living in Dublin, and it is quite British. And I've nothing against the Brits. Both my grandfathers were born in Britain, and so. It's just interesting that and the amount of times I went to the college, which is beautiful. I would never put anyone off going to that college. It was fascinating for me. And the growth that I got from that, I studied under Mavis Patilla. I also did the teaching accreditation with Mavis, Tony Stockwell, whom I love as well. And so there's lots of Paul Jacobs, all of these people that I met there. But going back to Vi and Doris, the Rainbow's End weekends, they had all these tutors coming that I didn't know were from the college or were well known or anything. I'm just this silly little Irish girl going over a bag of nerves if somebody said, jump
you
up
think
and
you're meant
say
to be a
something.
psychic, and then all of a sudden you find yourself on a mediumship course. And do you know what? Just on that point, you say something interesting, because for that very reason, I'm very confident in my life, in my day job, what I do. But mediumship, I found it really hard to believe in myself at times, because there's nothing else like it. You perhaps got someone in front of you who's a skeptic, and you've got all those things, that expectation, self-doubt, feeling that, you don't, is it me or is it my mind or is it my imagination? And should I be experimenting this on with someone who's coming to connect with their loved one? It's not a time to be sort of practicing this kind of thing. So there's a lot going on there, isn't there?
We'll be right back.
Hello, my darlings. I'm launching a brand new monthly newsletter. Think of it as SoulSync in your inbox once a month. Or we'll be like pen pals. I'll tell you what I'm up to in my mediumship, what I've been doing over the month. There'll be free meditation downloads, events. Sign up jasonpaulmedium.com down at the bottom of the homepage, and I'll see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where practice and development and all of those things that we're told really, really, really is vitally important, because we see mediums who, it's interesting because it's the ego is needed, or they're all ego. Well, that means they're egotistical. But if we don't have ego, Jason, you and I, how are we going to project ourselves? Like I said, I was a very shy person, a very naive and lacked confidence. And whilst I know people think I am confident, I know who's inside. But I have learned.
Well, yeah, but you could even be confident. Go put me in my business. I'll sit in board meetings. I'll do whatever. I'm confident. Put me in one-to-one reading scenario, point in my development, not confident at all. Bring me up on a platform. Normally, I'm...
Jason, do you know why? Do you know why?
Please.
Because it's so important to you to be of service. That's what it is. And Mavis Patilla, and I've said this before to people, because under her mentorships, I did a couple of mentorships, which were worthy of all the hassle and the fight, moving over. Anyway, so we were naughty in her class. We didn't do our homework right, and she was a bit peed off with us, rightly so. Now, I was one who hadn't completed the work. I was one of them. Some people did.
Don't worry, I would have been the same. I give me homework and, come back with a bit chewed off it, the dog.
Yeah. So she comes in and she's pointing the finger. I don't know if you've ever met Mavis. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman, but don't piss her off. But anyway, so she's pointing the finger. She came in and she goes, "You will all die." And I went, oh, I sank into the chair and I'm going, oh my God, what have I done that I'm going to die? And she said, well, when you do, you will meet every person that you said you were representing. Every person will be in a line and they may come to you and say, I didn't say that to you. I didn't say that to you. That changed my view. That very statement and moment changed my view completely. I wanted a line of people saying, I appreciate that you really tried. I appreciate that you were able to listen and hear and give and offer what the essence of me and I wanted to say to my loved one, not to come and say, I never said that. So that changed my focus somewhat. And it is
blown my mind, even you just saying that. I've never thought of it like that. And if that does happen, I think there's probably going to be a few people there asking for refunds on their side.
But the thing about it is,
I joke,
but Jason,
yes.
You're genuine, you're authentic. So if you make an error, it's an error, and put it to the side. You're not making up stuff. You're authentically offering the vibration and the essence of that loved one, whatever way it's manifesting for you, because it's all different. As you can tell, I'm not airy-fairy. I'm quite real.
Yes, but I like that. I like that. That's how I like to think. What am I saying? I like to think I am. I am a direct person, and I think I want to cut through the noise and the waffle.
Correct. The waffle has a place, and it's not. I like, if I'm doing platform, I do chat a bit first just to build up that energy, but that's not waffle. I'd like to think it's not waffle.
You're warming up,
warming them up.
Yes, I love that. Yes,
and
building one's energy.
And I step into it then. I know some people, I've done my accreditations and it doesn't,
accreditation. I'm going to just say on that point, because you're bringing up accreditations now.
Yes.
I will never, ever do the SNU qualification because firstly, I feel that the structure of it, I think it's good for education, the history. But firstly, I'm not someone that wants to do things in a box. I want to be able to freely express my mediumship in the way and I feel it's very restrictive. And I'm also someone that's not very good at the writing lots. I'm ADHD brain. I'm not someone that is going to. A part of me also thinks with my mediumship, I'm someone that likes to push boundaries. And as soon as I get the qualification, I'll lose it within 12 months because I've done something wrong or something that wasn't approved. I haven't read the handbook properly. I'm sorry.
You'll be taken down. You'll be taken down.
Well, I want to listen to the spirit world. It's the spirit world that's deciding what I say. Not me checklist. But carry on.
As I said, the education is good. What they have to offer is good because I wouldn't have known any of that. But it's only if you are a spiritualist. If you're not a spiritualist, you don't need to know all of that history, and which some has been debunked anyway.
How would you describe being a spiritualist to know if I'm one? How do I know if I am a spiritualist?
Well, the spiritualist is the religion. You are a spiritual being. I don't know if you're a member of the spiritualist church, the SNU, that you are a spiritualist. But that's the name of the religion. So I'm an ex-Catholic, and you need to
born again.
Again, you need to. Oh God, I don't know. I often have said, Jason. Now, when I get back to spirit world, I'm going to say, who bloody thought that was a good idea? Who thought that was the way I was supposed to learn that lesson? Just not have done it a little bit.
I could just tell you're one of those souls where the point of signing up for like me, at the point of signing the soul contract and someone saying, who wants this tough experience? Oh, I'll take that. Oh, I'll take that. And someone will say, Susan, come on now. You've picked enough. You've picked enough. Put your hand down now. Come on now. It's going to be tough for you.
Jason, wait till I tell you. I have a friend. Well, I have lots of friends, but I have a friend who does, what is it, Michael, the Journey of the Souls. And she does this hypnotic thing. And I was videoed. She kept asking me to do it. And so she brings you into a hypnosis state. It's actually on Gaia TV, I think.
Oh, I have to have a look into it.
Yeah, Journey of the Souls.
Journey of the Souls.
Yeah, I'm just terrible with names, honest to God. But anyway, it's funny because during that session, or another session perhaps, because she's my friend and she's very kind to me, because it was said, you've done enough. You don't need to do any more. You don't have to do this. And here I am going, oh, why didn't you tell me before I came? But you and I, Jason, I feel that we're determined. We're determined to get it right.
Stubborn.
Yeah. No, determined. I'm not stubborn anymore. I'm a bit older than you, so I can say determined.
I will dig my heels in when necessary.
Yeah, well, that's standing up for yourself.
I do. It is. I feel like I stand bold, but I stand bold to help other people. I feel that I have to be strong.
Justice needs to be done. Yeah.
Yes, it does need to be done.
Where karma, I let karma do its own job. But justice, that's it. If we can get a result, we'll do it. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
So all those experiences have brought me to being confident in my connection with the spirit world. Being a spiritualist doesn't mean I am a medium. People think that there's so many spiritualists who work as, healers are actually mediums, but they work cleaning up the churches. They all of that kind of thing. They're overlooked, and there's too many overlooked people within that organization. People are swallowed up a wee bit. But it served me. I went forward and I got my certification, which I think I needed to be certified.
Well, do you know what? But there is a lot in you then moving past that point of realising I never needed this all along, and I'm probably all the better for. But I just feel to myself, I just think, I just don't feel it's, I want to go through that to prove myself to anyone. I feel the only person I want to prove myself to is me.
You're absolutely correct. But going back to Vi and Doris were members of this institution. Yeah,
but it helps a lot of people. And there's so many people it does do well for. I just don't think it's my path.
And they're wanting to be part of the community. So it did serve a certain aspect. It did serve that. And it was really funny because it'd go to the college, and us Irish, we're awful storytellers. Oh, stop telling the story. We just want the facts. Another year I went, you can't mention God. It was all changing all the time. Where is the consistency? And the truth is, the consistency is the connection with the spirit world. And how it manifests for different people is different. And then they started, which I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. They started bringing on courses called The Storyteller. Well, you told us to shut up, and now you're saying. So really the truth is, yes, we need to bring forward the facts. Your father does still exist, but that's great. And your father loves you, and that's great. But that's not that anybody can.
Well,
say
yeah,
that.
Once you've established that you've got we want to know what is he wanting to say. You can just go on. Oh, he's showing me a gold watch. Yes, he had a gold watch. Oh, he's showing me a red door now. Oh, now he's showing me a bike in the front. Oh, was it green?
Yeah, that's all relevant.
I'm not being moved in any way here.
Correct. Yes. Where is the essence? My father, I can feel him if the medium has my dad. Now, I will say this to you. I like to honour other mediums. But if you disrespect my people who have passed over, I will not receive that message. I will not. So, because that's you. I just remember particularly it hasn't happened often, one medium. And my father lost a lot of weight before he passed, which many people do. And this person and he's pulling up his trousers and what she was kind of gone, my father is very dignified. You're taking from him his dignity. I'm not putting my hand up for that. I'm sorry. No. And that is bad, but it's also, that taught me also never disrespect.
No, but you're protecting his dignity in not wanting to claim what is because your father wouldn't be bringing that through. Why would he be bringing through himself disheveled, tucking his trousers into his pants?
Exactly. Even though it was true, what she did was take it and make it a comedy show.
What probably was a bit, I'm saying happened. I don't know. But, it could have been, okay, he's tucking himself because he wants to look smart, but she's taken her own interpretation, whatever. No. And
exactly. So, Vi, she said, if you see a salt canister, you're not seeing a full set of delf. So don't embellish it. Because if they're showing you that, there's a reason. So it's bringing forward, yes, we must bring the facts because then it is the person, but we can't stay in that because like you said, well, what does my dad want to say to me? How is he, viewing my life at the moment? How is he assisting me moving forward? And we both know that spirit people can't predict too far. And I mean, they can give us nudges and intentions, help us with that. But to know that your dearly beloved person is still alive in the vibrancy of that love that was present on this earth is an amazing thing that brings so much comfort and so much healing. And that's what you and I do, Jason. That's why we're authentic. So despite my very strict, and because I do feel now it was a very strict education within that space, it served me. I like rules. I always say this. I like rules.
I don't like rules.
No,
I'm not a rule person.
I like rules if they make sense. That makes sense. But if they don't make sense, well, you're
going to be breaking them.
Yeah, I'm not taking that up.
Yes, okay, let me refine that. I do like... No, I don't like rules, actually. I'm not even going to say that because I don't like rules. I like them if they are for the benefit of humankind.
Guidance. Let's go. And one of the reasons that I did sign up for the SNU was because they didn't have the 10 Commandments. Remember, I'm an ex-Catholic. They had the principles, which are guidelines. And there was something.
Yes.
And you see, so it gave me that power of choice. Whereas within I
best
suppose
practices, we suggest that you abide by this.
Yes, exactly. So that appealed to me. And then I jumped into that mediumship, and my friend who has passed over, we used to couple up a lot. She's from Barnsley. And even till our dying day, I didn't fully understand her because of the Barnsley accent. And I love her dearly and I miss her so awful. But I used to be the one that was last in the class. In a class of 30, I'd be the last one. So, of course, I'm a bucket of nerves, right? And I jumped up this day. And Chris was sitting beside me and I started saying, well, I have this, that, the other. And I turned to my friend Chris and I said, do I actually have someone? And she said, yes, you do. And so we go through all those learning processes of, is someone really there? Am I making it up? Well, partially at the beginning, we kind of do because we want to embellish, because we want to make it real. And then when we really start getting to the truth of it and understanding what it is we're doing and why it is we're doing it, then you actually listen to spirit. That's what I believe. Then you actually listen and you become the voice. And wasn't it Simon's James? I just remember, I think it was him I heard this from first, be the voice of the voiceless. Do you see? And just bringing forward their voice of what they wish to share. And, you'll have heard lots of times, and those who are listening, it's a phone call. It's a phone call with your loved one. And if you're on a phone call, you're not going to say, hi, cancer, blue car, hot belly, funny. You're not going to say
maybe if
that.
you're doing Morse code or something on the Titanic back in the 1900s, perhaps.
Yeah, you're going to say, look, hi, you love, it's Dad here. I really miss you. And I know that you've been going through a rough time, blah, blah, blah. I'm here for you. My love for you is present. I have healed. I can see clearly. I have no aches and pains. All of that in the essence of the message that life continues, albeit not in the human form.
Oh, great.
Am I wandering off?
No, not at all. You go through these different stages of development, like you rightly say at the very beginning. I even remember moments where I'm looking behind at the tutor that I got and I say, have I actually got someone there? Yes, you've got someone there. Now, what have you got? And then you go through a stage with the spirit world of trying to control it, okay, I need to do this now. I must push this out. Okay, I must do this, and then that happen. It's all mechanical. And I think a lot of teachers are mechanical. Yeah. And I think that it just puts you up in the head and it overcomplicates it. I think mediumship, the more I go on my journey, I think it's massively overcomplicated.
I think so too. Because it became regimented, you see, regimented. Has to be this. Now they did, and I do appreciate this. I'm putting that forward now. CERT, communicator, evidence, reason for coming, tie it up. That is a really good space for a beginner. That is absolutely, so they can get a handle on that. But the beginner must be allowed for their personality and their way of bringing forward information to be shown. Once it's respectful and
it's
honorable.
good at the beginning, just for the purpose of, right, okay, if you just stand someone in front of you and say, okay, who have you got now? There you go. They're not going to know where to go, what to say, what's appropriate, what's not. Yeah. To have that in front, it basically, and the spirit world are so intelligent, even these teachers who say you need to do this, you need to get this, you need to get that. The spirit world are obviously willingly partaking in, oh, bloody hell, we've got another one of these messengers, another one of these telephones where I have to scratch off the country code, answer all my questions, 20-minute dialing time, and then after I've answered the questions, I get 2 minutes to say what I want to my loved one, and then the connection's gone.
Yeah. That exactly. But it is a really good foundation. But be not permitted to move beyond that is the error. That's what I'm saying. It's the error. And I do teach, and I ask people to never compare themselves to anyone, because that's a killer, because it killed me. It's
in every aspect of your life. Yeah.
And to just speak the way you would normally speak. Just talk. Just allow it to occur. We need to permit our spirit people to come forward and permit the conversation, instead of saying, how tall are you? What age are you? When's your birthday? Give me a date. Now, we will know that if we stall, we'll kind of go, let me go back on that one just there. What did you say? Why is that date important? Because also in my work now, I don't like throwaway statements. Hey, Jason, July is really important. Your father says July is really important. You agree, don't you? Yes, says Jason. I want to know why. don't give me that information without saying it must be a birthday or there's a celebration around that time. All those things. And I think you and I, well, perhaps not you and I, because we're brilliant.
Yeah, no, go on.
We're just brilliant. But,
go on.
Yeah, but we want to know. We want to give. We want to be top quality. I'm not looking for stardom. In fact, all I look for is respect. And stardom is for those who wear their crowns. That's okay. You can have it. Because the good thing I learned about people who, not all of them are brilliant, but it doesn't matter because it introduces people who have had no knowledge that life is eternal and continues, and may bring them some peace and some healing, or bring them to a medium who can offer that. So it balances out. Sorry,
it does. I believe that. No, I believe that as well. And I feel that, you know, I won't want a bloody crown. I think they're uncomfortable. I don't even like the look of them. No to that. But yeah, it does attract. It attracts a lot of ego as well, mediumship. And like you said earlier, you know, it requires ego for the very ability of us getting up, feeling that we can do it. There's, you know, so it's, yeah, there's a lot going on there.
It's about balance. It's about the balance. And speaking of crowns, I'm going to give you a funny story here. Well, it's not really a funny story, actually. Years ago, and of course I'm naive, I don't really know anything about the spiritualists and how they work, and they have naming ceremonies. Isn't that what it's called? Spiritual naming service. And so I think we were in Middlesbrough, and I wasn't going to go back after lunch, and I was just laying on the bed, and I said, oh God, I better go back over or Ryan kill me. Well, she wouldn't have killed me, but I went back in. The room was all different. There were chairs all set up, and it was a naming service. And I was one of the namies. So Eric Hatton gave me my spirit name. I am forever honoured. I didn't understand at the time what it was. I was going, oh, that's all very nice. Yes, thanks very much. But obviously now I have a great depth of respect and I did have a depth of respect and understanding. And Eric, what a beautiful man he was. But my spirit name is Diadem, right?
Oh.
Which is crown, which is princess. So I kind of laugh there when, you know, I'll share my crown with you, Jason. You can have it.
I'll take half a crown. I think that would look quite nice.
Yeah.
At the front, more like a tiara.
Yeah. So it is very interesting that I didn't know what it was. And
do you know what's funny about that? Why do you now respect it? Because I was once in a situation like you were on a course where someone gave me my spirit power name, an animal name. And do you know what? I can't even remember what it was now, but it sounded ridiculous. It was something to do with the bald eagle.
Bull 10 feathers ahead, is it?
Well, it was something to do with the bald eagle, and it was much earlier in my journey when my bald patch was getting a bit bigger on the top, and I thought, what's he calling the bald eagle? So I think I forgot it.
No, I got it tattooed on me on my 50th birthday.
So what?
It's a bit dull now. So it just met, and going back again, I know I'm jumping around a bit to that thing of the journey of the souls. And I mean, the essence of that was remember who you are. But the princess thing came through again. Now, I'm not egotistical. I really am not. And I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed even saying it. But it is important to know that you are not Jason. You are this soul that's beloved by so many on this earth, but more so in spirit world. And so Jason is your human name.
Yes.
So I just find it fascinating that people feel the need. I'm perhaps not so much now, you know, that's what I was saying is your spirit name sitting bull with 10 feathers. What is that? What is that? You know, but for some people that's important. And for others, it's, you know, why can't your name just be James? Why, one of my spirit guides, her name is Jane. I mean, you know.
But do you know what? As you were saying that, it was making me think about, as you were saying that, like almost calling your soul a different name because your soul is eternal. And what we do attach, and I do this, is I go, oh, my soul, my soul is me. Well, it's Jason. Well, no, it's not. Jason is the human identity ego. And to have that, to almost call your soul another name is quite an interesting concept in itself, isn't it?
It is. I think so. And the fact that I'm a princess now, you see. No.
My soul's bowing down to you. I wanted to be the
absolutely, and very, very proper order too. But it's just all these other. I mean, in Catholicism, you're baptized, do you see, and you're given this name. So in spiritualism or the spirit, you're given the name that you're known as. Now, it is a human who has brought it forward to you. Now, Eric Hatton, I'm very honoured because he was just so lovely, but he sat with his guides and his guides gave him that name. Now, I'm not a skeptic, but I do research and I do question.
I am quite a skeptic. I would say I am.
A cynic, perhaps, but not
cynic. Yeah, actually, yeah, maybe that is a better word, cynic. I was a skeptic, but these days I am a cynic.
Yeah, but the reason you're that is because you're very real and very authentic. So you know when there's bullshit and you know when there's not.
My bullshit detector is highly tuned these days. I've had years of reading candidates doing recruitments as well, and negotiating based on ego using psychic skills and a background of being a police officer. I used to have a hunch like you wouldn't believe many a lifetime ago.
You were a Bobby?
I was in my 20s. I was.
Wow.
It didn't work for me. It was like draining my soul of every last inch of positivity.
I have to say, every time I went to Britain, I loved the British Bobbies. Everyone around me knew, there's a Bobby for you there.
You're talking about the big hat. You like the big hat.
Yeah, I did actually like the detectives at the airport too. That's
where they used to keep the handsome ones hidden, keep them out of the way.
It must have been the power about them or something. But anyway, it was interesting times, and so all of these experiences that we have bring us to the now. And what is the now? What do you want it to be? Where have you been? And I find, and this is where my studies have helped me outside of spiritualism and psychic work. It has helped me understand the human need. And I've had my own needs, still do, obviously, and hurts and needing to get through things. And spirit are going to assist in the healing, but they're not going to heal you. They're going to give you that, I'm here for you. I'm okay. So we can be at peace with that. We can find solace. Excuse me. Now, there was a passing in our family recently. My nephew. How can a parent recover from the loss of their child? I can't see it. So that haunted me. So I remember my father was laid out and I kind of went, thanks be to God, it's not my child. I don't know why I said that, but I remember it was such a powerful feeling. And it affected me in my connection with someone's daughter or son, because I couldn't understand the emotion. It was too much for me. And that loss is so overpowering. And so I had to work hard to be able to work through that. And yes, it's easier now. Easier only in that I have learned to restrain my emotions in that way. So, and it's just interesting because, we all have grandparents. You can't be here without them, Yeah. And why do I always get grandparents? Because they're easy. like aunts, you can get uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, children, all of that kind of thing. And it's about opening your mind to everything. But I had mine closed to that aspect. So that's
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Even in my own mediumship, because I tend to go at the moment through cycles where I'm going for, I think the spirit world are being very kind to me at the moment because they're just giving me all the sort of jovial, nice spirits at the moment in my development. I've always got the loud person that probably is very mirroring of where I'm at. They're being very nice. But even I went through a period of bringing through some children, and you don't have children, and for me, I can understand it's very individual and it's all about the experiences you've had and what's, happened in your consciousness, and it all has an impact, and I think the spirit world, they pick their mediums so carefully.
They do. Yes. And they use our bank of knowledge, our bank of experiences. But it was said to me, I can't even remember who, by, or when, but so why am I always getting grandparents? Why am I always getting aunties or uncles? Because this was said, I don't know if this is true, but it's a nice thing to think of. Because an auntie has come in to me, and I've spoken with your aunt. I've given all that information, and she goes to our pals on spirit side and says she's really good with aunties. So you're going to get a load of them after the other. Now that's a lovely way to visualize it. But I actually think there's an essence of truth.
But I even went through a period of keep getting people who had struggled with addiction constantly. And I think, why is this happening person after person? And there's something in that. I think there's something in that.
It's the ability to blend with that energy. And so the aunt says, that person who's had an addiction is saying, oh, he's a cool guy. He doesn't judge for a start. So we can blend really well and give our truth. Do you see?
Even me just saying that now, I've probably just cosmically put that out there in some telephone directory now. Oh, that'll be me for the next year now.
Yeah, but you could also say, I appreciate that you come forward to work with me, but allow others in as well.
I kind of embrace it. I'll look at myself as any messenger. I've been known for having a niche within a niche.
Oh, I don't know if I have a niche. I don't know. I have an F shoe. I don't have a niche. I'm joking. Sorry. Cut that out, will you? I can't cut that out. Yeah.
We can cut out bits if you like. Do you know what? You explain things so beautifully with so much humour. And I feel that so many things that you've even said has, given me light bulb moments.
Good. We need them. And years ago, I can restrain my emotions very well because I learned that as a child, not to show, because then you're, picked on or you're vulnerable. So when I started going over to Vi and Doris to those weekends, and it was in a church, right? And because every year they'd go to a church for 3 years, they'd have the 2 sessions in that church, and any money raised from those weekends they gave to the church, which was brilliant. But that's an aside. So, and also they used to bring the likes of the tutors that taught in the college. I didn't know anything about this college. I just said, I'm going to have to go and find out about this college. And I fell in love with it. But I've gone off track again. So what was I saying?
You was talking about, you got me lost now because you started talking about the college again. The problem is we're as bad as each other. You take me down a rabbit hole and then I've gone down it as well.
Sorry.
No, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
We're a bit like YouTube in the evening. We just can't get over it. We just keep following it. Sorry,
go on.
I don't know what I was going to say, so you go on.
Look, I honestly can't remember now what you were saying because I got lost on what you were just saying about the college because that gave me another light bulb moment. I think you made so many beautiful points, and I can tell that you've been through so many of your journey just feels so rich and almost like there's humour in it. And I could just imagine people in the spirit world even wanting to pick you and going, oh, honestly, her energy, because you make me laugh.
That'd be lovely to think of, yeah. Yeah, thanks.
Well, do you know what? We have a bit of an honour here of people leaving us on a final thought, and I feel like I've just kind of put you on the spot with that now. But I really like people to close the episode. So what message or theme or final thought would you like to leave us on today?
Okay, there's so many of them. As you can see, we wander around into that rabbit hole of thought processes. Look, in my life, I have struggled with myself so very much. And when I began to learn to trust that I was worthy of the spirit coming forward, which is about faith, really, I began to settle into myself. And healing is really important psychologically, spiritually, physically, mentally, all of those things. So if you ever feel you're in need, go seek it. There will be the hand of kindness always ready to reach out for you. Listen to, meditation. You don't have to it out for an hour, right? You can just go for a 5-minute walk wherever you're, if it's in a cement city or if it's in a park, whatever is good for you, go for it. Do not compare yourself to another. That's what I would say. If you see something or someone you like, aspire to it. Ask for guidance and how you can achieve it. And I have so many. I could just keep going on just this.
I love it. I could have another hour of your final thoughts.
So really, my statement is it's onwards and upwards. That's what I have on my website. Onwards and upwards. Never feel that there's no more. Hope is always present. Even if you can't feel it, it is being shone on you. Light is always there. And darkness cannot touch light. Light will keep the dark away.
Absolutely. What a lovely final thought to leave us on. All that leaves me to say, Susan, is thank you, my darling, for coming onto the Soul Sync.
You're most welcome. Thank you ever so much for inviting me.
Well, there we go. I absolutely loved Susan. She made me smile a lot in that conversation. And absolutely, darkness is just the absence of light. And we have to really protect ourselves as sensitive people because it's, I do think dark people tend to get attracted to our light. So, it's like a plant. You don't have a plant that's failing and, leaves are dropping off of it and blame the plant. You blame the environment. Is it the lack of light? Is it being watered correctly and so on? And even fear. The only thing that exists, and we learn this when we go to the spirit world back home, is love is the only thing that exists. So I have to catch myself when I have fear-based thoughts and remind myself to move back to that state of love. Do remember, I've now got a monthly newsletter, sent out the other one the first day. Lots of fun. Sign up, jasonpaulmedium.com. Go down to the bottom of the show page. And until next time, lots of love.